Oh, shit. Here we go again. How's everybody doing? Y'all doing all right? Let's get it started, man, you know? Welcome back to the Den of Nerds. I am Josh, and we have an incredible show for you today. As always, many incredibly fun things are happening out there in the nerdy world. We have to talk about some Avengers Doomsday stuff. We have some new details from insiders about what happened last week with the casting announcements, why it was done the way that it was. I find this to be really fascinating. Plus, rumors of new characters that are kind of almost confirmed, borderline confirmed for Avengers Doomsday. I'm talking about Tom Holland Spider-Man, Halle Berry, multiple reports that they are indeed in Doomsday. So I want to explain that whole situation, what is going on. I think you're going to be quite fascinated by that, actually. It's pretty cool. Then we have to get into some Blade news. More information out there about Blade, and I don't know, man. I mean, first of all, I think part of that story is not 100% accurate. You know, somebody gave a take, talked about some stuff they heard behind the scenes. It blew up, and then other people came in to give context, so I don't know. I want to go over the report. I want to talk about the possibilities here, what different people are saying, and where I think you'll see Blade next, because I do think you're going to get Mahershala Ali Blade. I know everybody right now is beaming that there's only ever going to be one Blade, and it does sort of seem like a lot of the news surrounding the Blade movie has supported that outcome, which is not great. But we're going to talk about that. We're going to break that down. We also have some really interesting news about Zack Snyder's next big project. I know we have a lot of UFC fans in the community. I know we have a lot of Zack Snyder fans in the community. At least we better. So I want to talk about this. Couple of cool things about this. It is a UFC kind of MMA movie, but unless I'm mistaken, this is something happening mostly outside of the Hollywood system, at least for financing. So I'm fascinated by this. I want to talk about this. We'll break it down, and then I will find a way to tie it into DC and basically make the claim that this guy from Saudi Arabia should buy Warner Brothers or buy the DC things, immediately cancel all of James Gunn's shit, and restore the Snyderverse. I'll never let go, Jack. I'll never let go. So we'll get into it, and we'll talk about that. There's also some little bits and bobs, little pieces of news here and there. I heard some interesting things about the Zelda movie. There are some rumors about Chris Evans and his appearance in Fantastic Four, which are really interesting. So there's a lot of cool stuff going on. When we get into the Q&A, I'm sure we'll get into some really interesting topics, whatever you guys want to get into, okay? As far as show notes are concerned for this week, I have a really cool video that's cooking right now with, like, X-Men and this big rumor about Doctor Doom, because I think, you know, looking back at the stuff from last week, a lot of us were like, okay, how does this Avengers versus X-Men thing connect to Doctor Doom? What the hell's going on? Well, there's some rumors that explain it. Big spoilery video. Frankly, I could have released this over the weekend, but I was stuck in Warhammer mode, dude. I was just playing. I was playing Warhammer. I was painting Warhammer. I was reading Warhammer. I was all in on Warhammer this weekend, and it felt amazing. I did not do a lot of Den of Nerd stuff, so I will finally drop that video for you guys later today. And also, I'm cooking another video. I'm sure many of you saw this conversation that started up over the weekend about the original version of Kang Dynasty, the original Doctor Doom plans. And look, we've had this conversation a lot recently about what was the original plan for Doom. Was Doom potentially always the villain of Secret Wars or not? Some of the scoopers have chimed in on that and given a lot away. And so I just recorded a video that goes over all what they're saying with some context that I heard, and gets to a place where you're like, okay, so in a sense, yes, Doom was always the plan, but it kind of seems like he was the plan for something else, and now they've kind of just used him early, so to speak. So that video will come out probably tomorrow. I think it's juicy, and I think you're going to be really interested in not only what the actual story is there for what they were going to do with Kang, what they were going to do with Doom, but also the potential for even more Doom, RDJ's Doom, after Secret Wars. I know you probably don't believe that, but watch the video, because I think you might be getting RDJ Doctor Doom past Secret Wars. We will Yeah, we'll talk about that after maybe that video comes out and whatnot. Tomorrow night is also another episode of Daredevil Born Again, and we're going to be doing a watch party tomorrow night at 8:30. I think it's a singular episode tomorrow. And I think we are finally past all of the old version of the show, and I think we're in for a lot of kick-ass action and really good content. I did not love the episodes last week, but I think we're going to do better from here, so I look forward to that tomorrow night. Wednesday night, we will be doing a Nerd Avengers stream, and I think, guys, should we just do Marvel Rivals? Should we do Marvel Rivals, or should we do another Warhammer stream? It seemed like everybody really loved the Warhammer stream, and it seemed like everybody wants us to play Warhammer again Wednesday night. So here's what we'll do. Let's put it to a poll. What should we do Wednesday night? And we'll do Warhammer or Marvel Rivals. Put it to a poll. See what you guys want to do. Either way, I'm good with it. I played a little Marvel Rivals over the weekend. Dude, Iron Man is really good now. After the last buffs, I think Iron Man is pretty fucking good. So I'd be down to do some Iron Man and or rather some Marvel Rivals with you on Wednesday. It just depends on whatever you guys want to do. Other than that, no real show notes that I can think of. Yeah, other than that, I think we're going to have a pretty regular, pretty standard week. Okay, so I'm going to get right into the news topics here, guys. As always, we will get into Q&A later on in the show. So I'm sure you'll have some thoughts, some comments about all of this stuff. We'll get into it later on. All right, so let's begin. And let's begin by talking about last week's announcement, the Avengers cast, and what the deal is really with Marvel, this movie, etc., etc. I think that last week's announcement certainly brought some excitement, certainly made some waves out there on social media. And, you know, even if people like myself didn't really love the way the announcement went down, you kind of can't deny it did some serious numbers. It got people talking. Okay. Having said that, there's still a lot of questions for us fans. And I think this community in particular, our community, I think some of the stuff we're most interested in is why those names and why not some of the other names. The names that we all expected to be there, the names that we're pretty sure are going to play a big role in that movie. Well, over the weekend, and this might have even started late last week, I'm not sure, but a ton of stuff. Daniel had a ton of stuff out there for his Patreon people and, you know, behind the paywall. And we're starting to get a picture of what's going on. Okay, so this is pretty crazy. Check this out. Big RPK exclusive Marvel scoop. I mean, this guy can't even spell Marvel right, you know? He does have good info, though. The reason they only announced some names for Doomsday and not others is simple. They wanted a big announcement to mark the start of production, but haven't finalized deals with everyone yet. So they only revealed the actors who are locked in. Wow. Okay, so that's kind of interesting for, I think, multiple reasons. Okay? What this shows is that Marvel Studios has absolutely signed a bunch of actors to do this movie. All of the X-Men are signed to come back that were in that announcement. Basically, everybody that was in that announcement, 100% signed to be in the Avengers Doomsday film. And that's cool, and that's exciting, especially, you know, when it comes to some of the X-Men names. I think Sir Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen probably being the most exciting for me. And we talked about last week, and we've speculated about how that's going to fit together. The video I dropped later today will go into great detail about how that's going to fit together with the X-Men and some of the rumors about Doom. But, so, that's cool. It shows they want to start building hype for this thing right away. And so far, the marketing schedule for this has felt a lot more like the other Avengers movies, whether it was Infinity War or Endgame, right? So there's this sort of built-in idea that these are a super big deal, and I think they want to let the public know that they're a big deal. This shows that they're doing that. But if it is true, and I think it is, that they are only using actors that they have signed with, it means that they are potentially using this announcement to put some pressure on some of these other actors. I know that might seem crazy, but just walk with me on this. Let me cook on this, okay? as it stands right now, Marvel Studios is staring down the barrel of a lot of different problems when it comes to Avengers Doomsday. If you will notice, one of the things that insiders kept saying last week when it came to the Spider-Man piece of this was that they didn't know if Marvel could afford him, which I find to be really fascinating. Actually, it kind of runs counter to some things that I had heard where I was like, dude, I thought he was locked up for one more Marvel movie regardless. And I thought he had a new contract. Didn't we report that he had a new contract? What the hell? Does he not have a new contract? This is crazy. So anyway, point being, Tom Holland, he was left off of the names last week, and yet a lot of the rumor mill and a lot of the people that we follow said Tom Holland, Spider-Man, huge part of this movie, very important, etc., right? Now, one of the most curious reports after this initially came out was Jeff Snyder, who said that Spider-Man 4 takes place at the same time as Doomsday, which I don't even think is true, but we'll see, because it's not like Jeff is making this up. He has to be hearing something and then maybe misinterpreting it, or maybe I'm wrong and he's right. We're going to find out. But I trust my instincts on this. I don't think that's actually correct. But he said because of that, and potentially because they can't afford him, Tom Holland's likely not to be in this movie. I actually caught Grace Randolph giving a similar attitude in one of her live streams where she said, we'll see if Marvel can even afford him. Kind of offhanded comment. But when you hear multiple people that are, have inside information start to talk about, can they afford him? And then you get this report from Daniel here. Pretty interesting. So what that probably means is that Tom Holland is just being a tough, this whole thing is a tough negotiation for whatever reason. And he hasn't 100% signed on to be in the movie. Now, this part here, I want to be very clear. This part here is very speculative, but this is one way that I could make sense of this. Because I was like, okay, well, what the hell? He has this contract with multiple appearances. Why wouldn't he be in Doomsday? What would be how could they hold that up if he's signed to be in the movies, right? Well, what I think is if you sign a multi-picture deal, there's probably still some agency on the talent side as far as what projects are they actually going to be in to fulfill their contract. Meaning, Marvel, Sony, and Tom has agreed that he's going to do this many movies. However, it doesn't mean that they've 100% agreed that Doomsday is one of those movies. At least that's my interpretation of how this deal is and what's going on, okay? Maybe that's a little inside baseball. And again, it's speculation. We don't even know if it's true, right? But here's the important aspect of it, okay? Daniel added to his report and said, I have confirmed Tom Holland is in talks for Doomsday. There's just no deal in place yet. Okay, so when you combine this piece of information with the first piece of information, which is that they only used actors that they had 100% locked in for Doomsday, and you consider the fact that Tom's in this negotiation setting, they're trying to do all of this stuff, I think it probably means that he will be in the movie. I honestly cannot imagine a scenario in which he's not in the film. And by the way, I saw this take that Jeff had on Twitter where he was like, all these people are using all of this logic, but they don't understand scheduling and budgets and all this other stuff. And look, with all due respect, when it comes to Marvel, and particularly with the Avengers movies, yeah, I think you do throw a lot of that shit out of the window. You throw the conventional wisdom out of the window, and that's just due to the history of the studio. It's due to what they've been able to accomplish before. They filmed a shit ton of Spider-Man before the official Sony Marvel deal to allow Spider-Man to be in Civil War was actually finalized, right? So, you just look at the history of the studio. This is how they operate. You know what I mean? So it doesn't surprise me that Tom's not completely 100% signed for Doomsday. I mean, it is a little surprising just given how he would seem to be such an important part of the movie. But that is, as far as we understand it, where things stand with Tom Holland. Now, in a worst case scenario, if he's like, you know what, I will do a bunch of movies, but I'm not feeling Doomsday, which again, imagine that. I have so much trouble believing that is true. I think maybe one of the only ways that could be true is if Jeff's actually right and the movie takes place congruent to Doomsday, which, again, I cannot imagine being true. But if it is, that would potentially explain why or how they could pull that off without Holland in Doomsday. But I just got to say, the conventional wisdom here, throw that shit out the window when it comes to like how studios have operated before Marvel. If you look at Marvel's exact history, none of this is really that shocking. And, you know, even this idea right here, right, where, you know, Daniel said about Avengers Doomsday, production started, but not filming. They're still building sets. Filming only starts in April, and they still don't have a finalized script. So, like, again, this still don't have a finalized script. Bro, Iron Man 1 didn't have a finalized script when they filmed it. I'm not saying you have to be, like, totally down with it, but it's disingenuous to not acknowledge that the vast majority of Marvel movies were created without a finished script when they went to shoot. So this is not abnormal for how Marvel makes their movies, right? But yeah, everything is coming together somewhat last minute. They have the ideas. They have a lot of beats. They probably don't have a finalized script because they're probably adding to it every single day, trying to fill out scenes, give context, try different things, right? So with all of that in mind, what's the main point? Like, what am I really trying to say here? Well, I think last week when that announcement happened, and this is in my opinion, this is by design. Marvel is doing stuff intentionally to throw off the rumor mill and the people like you and I that follow the scoopers and the insiders. That's what I think is going on. I said that last week. I continue to believe it. And so, you know, you're hearing all this stuff about the deals and everything that's happening with Tom. I just can't imagine a scenario in which he's not in the film. Okay? Now, let's take this a little bit further. Another big exclusive from Daniel. I hear Halle Berry is close to finalizing her deal to return for Avengers Doomsday. Okay, so very, very similar to everything we just talked about with Tom Holland. The reason Halle Berry's not, her name is not on one of the chairs is because she has not finalized her deal to be in the film. Now, you know, this might just be natural, though. This could be natural. And I know things are, like, really close, but they're filming this thing for, like, 5-6 months. They've got time. They've got time to sign Halle Berry, get her in some scenes, have her do some cool shit. It's going to be okay, right? But this is another scoop that is somewhat aimed at the exact issues that fans had last week. When we looked at those names, we were like, dude, what? We're missing some names here. We're missing Jean. We're missing Storm. You know, we're missing Tom Holland Spider-Man. Where's Benedict? Where's Elizabeth Olsen? And some people, like this, I don't know if you guys have noticed this or not, and maybe I'm just crazy. You tell me if I'm just crazy. But I keep noticing that the way Marvel is releasing stuff, and potentially even the way their actors and actresses are speaking to the press, is almost exactly counter to a lot of the narratives that we believe is happening in the film via the rumor mill and the insiders. So we thought those X-Men were going to be in there, right? And then it's like, okay, but they're not all in there in the thing. It's like, okay, how does that make sense? We thought Benedict Cumberbatch was going to be in there for sure. We thought Elizabeth Olsen was going to be in there for sure. They've both said they're not in the movie. Benedict walked it back. She didn't. She keeps doubling down on it. And then they're not on the chair announcement either, right? I don't know. What do you think Benedict's signed? I think Benedict's signed. I think he's signed. I think he's good. I think he actually is going to shoot a lot on this movie. Why wasn't his name on the chair? It's the same thing. They haven't exactly finalized the deal. No. This could be part of the story here from Daniel, but this isn't the full story. The truth is, I think there's an element here of misdirection. And I do think this whole marketing thing with Marvel leading into the next two Avengers, it's going to be fascinating to see because the Russos were not really around when leaking culture became what it is now. Their movies were leaked. Infinity War and Endgame were leaked. But at the time, the culture was so... I mean, frankly, it just was that a lot of people just didn't believe it. I read the full-ass leak for Endgame like 2 weeks before it came out, and I couldn't fucking believe it. I was like, dude, what? Fat Thor? Get out of here. This is fan fiction. What? Professor Hulk? Stupid as fuck. And then it happened verbatim. But it wasn't until after those movies that the leaking culture started to build. And now we know fucking everything about these movies because, like, you just get like a sea of leaks and rumors, and you can kind of bounce it off all the reliable people, and you come out on the other end pretty much knowing what's going to happen. So I've been interested for a while to think about how would the Russos approach this? How are they going to approach this whole leaking culture thing? Now, one thing Marvel's been doing, Marvel does like fake scripts and puts out fake info. So do you guys remember when Alex Perez said that you were going to see Jean Grey and Wanda fight in Deadpool and Wolverine, and then there was going to be like Magneto in it? Do you remember that? Well, that was a fake script that got leaked out there. And actually, Ryan Reynolds admitted that they did this later on. He was like, yeah, no, we put out like some fake leaks, fake scripts to try to throw people off. But like pretty much like instantly after that, all the scoopers figured out what that was. And now they have a way to test it to figure out if it's actually true. So like it's almost like hackers versus cybersecurity people. Like it's this constant game of like leveling up. And it's really interesting. But all of that to say, I think one of the strategies Marvel might use to try to hide leaks and secrets moving into Doomsday and Secret Wars is they're going to put out marketing and promotion in a very specific way to really bring into question the validity of the rumors. That's what I think is going to happen. And we'll see. Like, we'll be able to see the pattern if we see the pattern, right? So just fascinating times, man. With Marvel, pop culture, entertainment, social media, all of this stuff is so fascinating to me. So I wanted to bring this up. The main takeaway is I think you're getting Tom Holland. I think you're getting Halle Berry. I think we're getting all the people we thought we would in Doomsday and in Secret Wars as well. I think they're going to figure it out. I would be absolutely shocked. I would be flabbergasted if Tom Holland's Spider-Man is not in this movie, given everything I've heard about it. I just don't know how that would be possible. Okay. All right. So there you have it. That's the dealio with all of that. Now, okay, let's talk about Blade, dude. Now, this is also going to be pretty interesting, guys. What a world that we live in with all this nerdy news. Okay, so apparently this guy is legit. I don't know who this guy is. I have no idea who this dude is, but apparently he's legit. A lot of people are like, yeah, this guy knows what he's talking about. Does a podcast or something. Okay. I heard some Blade news I trust. File under rumor for now. If you want, /take it with a grain of salt, I'm okay with that. I'm told the rumors that John Wick filmmaker Chad Stahelski could take over the franchise are incorrect. Womp womp. In fact, the creative direction of Blade has totally shifted. While Mahershala Ali is still attached, and all these years later, despite some of the talk that he was going to be difficult about approving scripts, from what I'm hearing, the Blade movie is essentially nixed for now. Now, that doesn't mean we won't get a Blade movie someday. Take Nova, for example. That series got scrapped for now, and in other words, pencils have been put down, and the active development on it is shuttered for the moment. But who knows? We could still get it down the line. The same has essentially happened to the Blade movie. So what does that mean for Ali and the character? Well, they'll still use him and introduce him in another way. Blade will likely be introduced formally in either the still developing Midnight Suns movie or Avengers Secret Wars, or possibly as a supporting character in another movie, like the way Namor was first introduced in Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Now, if I were a betting man, I would say it's likely not Secret Wars, as Marvel tends to not randomly add new characters into big ensemble casts like that, because Blade would totally be lost in the shuffle and he would not get a proper introduction. It'll be either Midnight Suns. If they can't crack that story, they will likely find a way to introduce him in someone else's story, perhaps paving the way for a solo film down the road. Things shift, things change. That is what I've heard in the most recent moment. Frankly, this makes more sense to me right now, especially with the Namor Wakanda Forever route. File under rumor if you want. I'm all good with it. Okay. So, this happened, and cue the entire internet saying there's only going to be one Blade and using that meme from Deadpool and Wolverine over and over again. Blade, it's canceled again. We're never going to get it. What the hell? All that kind of stuff. Okay. So what's going on, man? Well, Alex Perez came forward after this to suggest that this is similar to the Nova situation. And even this guy kind of makes that point too, right? And about a year ago, Brad Winderbaum was out doing press. This might have been for Echo or one of the other shows. And Brad made this statement, which I thought was really important for Marvel fans to pay attention to, and like none of them did. And what he said was, we're going to start acting more like a normal Hollywood studio. We will develop a lot more than we produce. So one of the problems with Phase 4 and 5 was that they were just develop, and producing everything they developed. They were like, yes, that'll work. Slap a Marvel Studios logo on it. They'll love She-Hulk. They'll fucking love being made fun of and called incels. Oh, anyway, point is, they developed a lot. They developed too much. They produced too much. Now, what they're doing is they're producing stuff, taking things through pre-production, getting them ready, basically like almost like a really advanced internal pitch document or something to that degree. And they're going to just produce way fewer of those things than they were in the past. So what that means is Midnight Suns, Nova, Blade, these are projects that have been in development for a long time. Blade in particular has been in development forever, right? And we've heard all sorts of things. They've tried a lot of different things. Bo DeMayo took a crack at a script apparently at one point. So they can't crack the code on Blade. It just means they're not going to put it into production anytime soon. And I would expect this probably mostly has to do with Secret Wars. So that's kind of what Alex said. So Alex came forward and said, just like Nova and some of these other projects, it's not that they're not going to happen. They're not delayed indefinitely. They're delayed until after Secret Wars because Marvel has a lot to juggle between the 2 Avengers movies, the possible Battleworld movies, maybe other Disney Plus stuff as well, and getting X-Men ready. So Marvel's juggling a lot. Blade just simply would not fit right now. And, you know, maybe he'd get lost in the shuffle in the movie. But frankly, his movie might get lost in the shuffle of Battleworld if they had it moving at any point soon. So despite everybody saying this is the end for Blade, etc., don't believe that at all. I think Mahershala Ali is absolutely going to be Blade. And I think that they will maybe take a look at the Midnight Sun thing. Like maybe this guy's correct here. But I wouldn't be surprised if he popped up in some other stuff. For me, I think there is a way to use Blade in the Battleworld Saga, potentially in Doomsday as well. But he would be relegated to something pretty sparse, right? If we get out of the Secret Wars thing, there's potential to build into some like Eternals type stuff or some supernatural type stuff with Blade. There's always an angle you can take there, and it would make more sense outside of the Secret Wars thing. You could also just do multiple Blades and have Mahershala hanging out with Wesley Snipes. I think that would be fire on Battleworld, right? A bunch of Blades on one part of Battleworld. So I could see it going that way. I could see him popping up in Spider-Man 4 or something. I think you're getting more Blade, but I think the truth is this idea of the solo Blade movie, yeah, that's delayed for a while, and it might not actually materialize. Blade himself is still going to be a thing, and I think they're super committed to that. And I think Mahershala at this point really needs it. I think Marvel needs it too. But it's not like you're going to be seeing Blade in 2027 is basically what this report here means. So I wonder what you guys think of this. I mean, would we accept Mahershala Ali Blade without a solo movie? That's a big question. I'm sure that's something Marvel's thinking about too. I absolutely believe we would. I think there's a history of that. And I think, dude, you should just be doing Blade. Like, honestly, Blade should have been, like, Mahershala Ali Blade should have been introduced already at this point. Like, he should have been in something else besides that post-credit scene where you don't even see him in the Eternals. So that's the news with Blade, man. And I don't think it's like all that big of a deal, to be honest with you. But everybody, anytime, at this point, Blade, I mean, God, man, 2019, he comes out with the hat on and introduces Mahershala. It's 6 years, man. It's going to be 7, 8. It might be a goddamn decade. It might be a goddamn decade by the time we get to a Blade movie or Blade in the MCU. So, of course, this is a huge sort of dramatic situation with Marvel, and they're not going to live it down until they figure this out. So, let's hope that they figure it out. One last thing on this, too. It's a shame that the Chad Stahelski piece of this doesn't seem to be true. I think that dude's very talented, and I would have loved for Blade to go in that direction. Fascinating that he's like, no, it's going in a different direction. What is it going, more fantasy or something? Less grounded, shooty, slice and dice kind of thing? We'll see. But yeah, that's the updates with Blade, man. That is the updates with Blade. Okay. One last main story today, and then we'll get into a couple of smaller stories after that. This one's so cool, man. Zack Snyder story, so cool. Everybody loves Zack Snyder, man. The GOAT, the blueprint, the man himself. Okay, so here we go. Zack Snyder to direct Brawler for UFC. What? What does this mean? Let's get into all the juicy details. Zack Snyder to direct Brawler for the UFC. The mixed martial arts giant's latest big screen treatment will portray a young fighter getting a shot at the UFC championship, having to battle his inner demons as he fights for redemption. Zack Snyder is getting in the octagon. Veteran Hollywood director is parting with UFC to direct Brawler, a movie that promises bone-breaking action scenes likely not seen before in Snyderverse superhero films. Brawler will portray young UFC fighter rising through the rough streets of LA to get a shot at a UFC championship, but having to battle his inner demons as he fights for redemption, according to the logline from the film's producers. The Snyder Project marks the mixed martial arts giant's latest bet on a big screen immersive experience for the UFC, led by CEO Dana White, took over the Sphere in Las Vegas 2024. Deborah Snyder, Wesley Collar were producers on Brawler with their Stone Quarry banner, with Turki Al-Sheikh, the UFC chief content officer Greg Borsuri, executive producing. Besides directing, Snyder will write Brawler along with executive producer Shay Haddon and Kurt Johnstad, his frequent collaborators with whom he worked 300 and Rebel Moon. Behind every great fighter is a story of how they got there. UFC is world leader in combat sports, and I'm honored to be partnering with all of them to tell this incredible story, Snyder said in a statement. The chairman of General Entertainment Authority in Saudi Arabia, that's that dude. That's this guy. We've seen, if you ever watch any of the Saudi boxing matches or the fights, man, this dude's like, he's obviously like a big celebrity over there trying to kind of get them big time media shit over there. Let's see here. Snyder's Stone Quarry is in development with untitled Netflix, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so unless I'm mistaken here, I suppose this would go through Hollywood distribution, but this does kind of seem like it will be created outside of the Hollywood system in large part. Now, this guy, he said some really interesting things on Twitter. Let me see if I can find his tweet, because this dude, talking about how his magazine is a really important part of it. Here, let's read through this. Maybe we'll get some insight here. There's a press release he put up. Acclaimed filmmaker, blah, blah, blah. Chairman, I've been a fan. This is what he said here. I've been a fan of Zack Snyder's work for years. His unique style, his iconic action sequences and sweeping visuals, and intensely emotional storytelling, coupled with his humanized portrayal of deeply flawed characters, is singular. I couldn't think of a better person to partner with the UFC to take the big screen. The Ring magazine, with its 103-year legacy, will support to ensure the project's success. Yeah, I'm kind of confused. I know he owns this magazine as well, so I'm kind of confused, though, as to, like, how he's seeing the magazine piece of it all. Dana White said Turkey and Zack have shared a vision to create a film about the UFC. They're both very passionate about the project, show fans what it takes to become a UFC champion. It's an incredibly ambitious project, and I look forward to seeing it come to life. Okay, so that's about them, about the UFC. It doesn't really have too much about him, though. Very interested. So the main reason I'm fascinated by this, right, and this guy, right, the Saudis have an insane amount of wealth. And they've been throwing money at a lot of different industries and a lot of different things to try to like establish their kingdom and their culture as being an important part of the world stage with sporting events, the pop culture zeitgeist, all of these different things. This is a fascinating combination of those kind of efforts. And to me, it does seem a little bit out of the purview of Hollywood, which I'm fascinated in as well. So I'm curious to see how this thing is financed. Where does it shoot? Is it distributed through Hollywood distributors or not? What does all of that look like? Because, you know, you might say, well, the UFC and ESPN and Disney, like there's some kind of a relationship there, so you wouldn't think they would go outside of that. But I've heard the UFC might be looking to sign a deal outside of ESPN, potentially with Netflix. So the UFC might not even be that interested in Disney, Hollywood kind of stuff anymore. It's fascinating to watch these big industries like move and adapt and change. And then, of course, I wouldn't feel right unless I brought up this. This guy here, and I've never seen this guy on Twitter before, but he says, please buy the DC characters and restore the Snyderverse. Yo, that's crazy. 63 likes. People seem to see it. Did he talk about it yet? Did the prince respond? So here's the thing. Dream scenario here. So the Saudis have all the money. Warner Brothers is broke as a joke, okay? The CinemaCon this week, and all the studios have a night dedicated to them. On Warner Brothers night, they've decided they're literally going to stand outside with cups and beg for change. That is how bad things are financially for Warner Brothers right now. So the point is, Warner Brothers is broke as a joke. The Saudi dude has all the money in the world and loves Zack Snyder. If this UFC movie can be somewhat successful, even moderately, then the Saudi guy buys Warner Brothers, buys all the DC stuff, cancels all the James Gunn stuff, tells James to go sit in the corner and cry, and restores the goddamn Snyderverse. We finally got there. We figured it out. A full circle moment. Let's go. Let's go. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, baby. Okay, so look, obviously that's a dream, right? But dreams come true. You know? Don't you see the pieces starting to add up? Oh, Rob from Comics Explained says, everybody loves the Snyderverse. Snyder made the best DC movies. Dude, Rob from Comics Explained, everybody. Unbelievable. Rob from Comics Explained. You know? I didn't know you were a Snyder bro too, man. Woo! Do you have a Snyder tattoo? Oh, it's incredible. Incredible. If you're listening on the podcast feed, you can't verify that that's what he said, but 100% that's what he said. I know. It's crazy. I was shocked too. Okay. So there you have it. The news. Let's see here. You know what? There was one other. There's a smaller little bit of news here. Basically, I want to make sure this is actually true. I heard that Daniel dropped some more scoops about the Zelda movie. Is that true? Is it true? Something about the actors being signed for long term? Anybody? Bueller? It seems unverified for now. I saw some people talking about it, though. Does anybody subscribe to Daniel? I don't. I used to. Well, maybe we don't actually have these updates then. And if he did actually do it, maybe we can talk about it tomorrow. Yeah. All right, everybody, there you go. You have it. Your updates about the Avengers, Spider-Man's Doomsday stuff, the Blade updates, Zack Snyder updates. Now let's break into Q&A as we usually do. Go over any and everything you guys want to chat about. Maybe you have some questions about the topics we went over. Maybe there's some new stuff out there that is confusing you or you need clarified on. let's open it up to the Q&A. I also want to say, if you're listening on the podcast feed, man, it's been a real nice time so far. You know, I bet you're enjoying this show, getting filled in. You know, you're probably pretty jacked up about Zack Snyder, the Snyderverse. Rob from Comics Explained is a Snyder bro. It's crazy. Well, I'm about to open myself up to a live chat, and this shit is crazy. These people just want to trigger me and get me to crash out, and guess what? It might work. So I just want to let you know. It might get wild. Okay, let's get into it. Let's get into the Q&A. First in today, Joshua Campbell Bluegrass says, wow, Josh clicked on here at 11 sharp and the video was already going. Impressed. Also, we need OG Avengers back for Avengers vs. X-Men. Let's fucking go now. Avengers for life. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, it was, what's the word? Tardy? Is that how you say that? Tardy? I was tardy today. Wait, no, I was not tardy? How do you say that? How do you say it the right way? Why do I feel tardy in a different way now? Yeah, I appreciate you, brother. Look, I think the OG's for sure coming back to fight against the Avengers. And in fact, the video I'm dropping later today gets into it in great detail. So I would watch that video 2-3 times, and then you'll know exactly what's going on. CY98 says, July 11th, wallets closed. Is that for Superman? Y'all really boycotting Superman? That's wild. Even I'm not boycotting Superman. How am I supposed to make fun of it if I don't see it? Joshua says, we need RDJ Doom till he's 90. The video tomorrow will go into great detail about that. Appreciate you, brother. Darkest Timeline says, sup, Josh? Do you think Doom will have an inside the mask camera angle like Tony did? Ooh. When you think about it, so much of RDJ's screen time was like that. Yeah, I think there'll be something like that for sure, brother. I think we're going to get something like that. Hell yeah. Joshua says, that announcement got me excited for T-Bolts and Fantastic Four. Well, that's what it was supposed to do. So there you go. Shalami Leaner says, morning, Josh. I started reading Uncanny X-Men, and Scott is such a badass in it. I love his costume. What are your thoughts? Oh, hell yeah, dude. He's great in Uncanny. And was that when he had the like all black costume with just the eye John? I forget what costume that was. But hell yeah, man. Uncanny's a good run. Cause isn't like Emma there too? That's like the Kitty Pryde run. Emma's there, they go into the danger stuff, and it all ends with Kitty making that one whole missile ship thing phase, and it goes through the whole Earth. Am I thinking of the wrong run? John Cross says, heading out to CinemaCon. I just wanted to say 12 Avengers unite. Nerd Avengers for life. I hope you enjoy CinemaCon. Are you really going to CinemaCon? That's crazy. Is anything happening at CinemaCon? Like Sony's tonight, right? I mean, I guess they could announce some shit. We'll just talk about it tomorrow morning if they do. That's astonishing, I think. Yeah, I'm probably mixing it up. Josh says, Ryan Reynolds Blade variant hanging out with Ali and Snipes would be hilarious. Yeah, no, I agree. I think that would be fun. I bet I know what they're announcing. I bet I know what you know that they're announcing, Rob. Because we talk about it a little bit. I think Rob thinks there's some Spider-Verse stuff. Right? That you think some Spider-Verse stuff's happening? Maybe live-action Spider-Verse stuff? Spider Island? Something like that? John Cross says, Snyder, Netflix, UFC movie. Does that mean UFC might join Netflix when... Ooh. Isn't that interesting, John? Yeah, we went over that during the report. I think that could be part of what's happening here. Yeah. Fascinating times, brother. Braden says, did you see the leaks for Superman and Aaron Fisher? I'm not sure how reliable he is. But he went over the whole ending of the movie. Did he really? Can you link that to me? Also, you got unbanned on Discord, Braden. I'm sorry. I was out of control last week and grumpy. You're good, and you can even make a mom joke towards me if you want. But I can't promise I won't overreact again. Yeah, send me that shit, man. I think Aaron Fisher is actually reliable. CY98 says the company that Turkey runs has a net worth of $2.8 trillion. Yeah, so they could afford, they could afford the DC stuff. I'm serious. Buy DC, take the toys away from James, give him to Zack. It's that simple. Like, it is literally that simple. And by the way, Warner Brothers, if you wanted to have integrity, fortitude, and the strength to not just be passed around like a cheap whore, you shouldn't have fucked up your whole shit over the past 50 years to the point that you're going to have to go beg for change at CinemaCon. I don't give a fuck about Warner Brothers. I really don't. So, yeah, Turkey, get him. Get him. Buy it up. John Cross says, Josh's Saudi UFC theory made more out there than my 12 theory. Jesus. Patrick Wire says, honest question. Even if all the Snyderverse stuff got figured out with rights and all, would all the actors even want to come back after all of these years? You know, that's a hard one. I mean, you would think probably not, right? Ironically, the one that out of all of them that's probably the most busy is Henry. Ironically, with all the Warhammer stuff, and he's doing Highlander and, you know, maybe even Bond, who knows? Henry's probably the busiest, right? So he probably wouldn't be able to come back. Affleck's making a lot of movies, but, you know, even though he says, no, I think he'd come back. I mean, what's Gal Gadot doing other than losing Disney hundreds of millions of dollars? So I think she's probably available. I mean, Ezra's... Yep. Ray Fisher's probably not that busy. Yeah, I think they could probably do it. And so, yeah, maybe the actors wouldn't want to come back. You could do it in a animated form. You could also probably do it in CGI. I'm going to be honest, by the end of next week, you could probably recreate the whole goddamn thing in AI and make it seamless. That's kind of the direction things appear to be going in. So, yeah, I think they could do it, man. I think they could figure it out. I think they could figure it out. So, yeah, we'll see. I mean, I honestly would, at this point, like dead ass, I'm not even kidding you. If the Saudi prince bought Warner Brothers, right, and literally just said, we're restoring the Snyderverse, I mean, I think, even though it would be so fucking crazy, I mean, like think about this. What if they do that, okay? Oh man, I'm really dreaming now, okay? So they do it, okay? Zach's on board, Saudi dude's on board, everybody's on board. So they go to Ben Affleck, and Ben's like, I don't know, blah, 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 blah. The Saudi prince is like, how much? And he's just like, what do you mean? He's like, how much? What if it's a how much conversation every single time, and the dude literally has all the money? Fans not on board? I'm on board. Dude, all of them. Get them all back, bro. I mean, oh no. What are we going to do? We're going to miss out on the current Batman? We're going to miss out on hockey pad wearing Batman that just lost Warner Brothers another $100 million with Mickey 17? Oh no. Ben Affleck in his 50s? I'd rather have fucking Penguin for 6 weeks of boring ass content on this thing. This guy doesn't even want to play the fucking character anymore. Ah! It's all whack. None of it's working. I dead ass think if they did it by the end of the year, if he bought Warner Brothers and was like, we're restoring the Snyderverse, dude, I think within a couple of months, we get right back to the hype level. Everybody's like, this is the fucking craziest thing to ever happen. But really, if you look at the history of DC over the past 10 years, is it really that crazy? Would it really be that ridiculous? I mean, we're about to do Secret Wars. We just brought Hugh Jackman back till he's 90. Robert Downey Jr.'s back. He's like 3 million years old. You've got Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen. Pretty sure they're from the age of the dinosaurs. And we're really going to scoff at the idea of getting all of the Justice League actors back together? Get the fuck out of here, dude. That shit would be easy. Easy. Restore the Snyderverse. The more I think about it, the more they just do it. Restore the Snyderverse. Come on, Saudi guy. Let's get it. CY98 with a 10 spot. That's very generous. Says, Zack said he'd work with Ezra again in a heartbeat. Completely agree on the Ben Affleck stuff. He's always been loyal to the filmmakers over the brand. Yeah. And I think the Saudi dude would be like, we give you Robert Downey Jr. money. And then Ben Affleck's like, I'll be Batman forever. Hell yeah. And I'm so glad we're all excited for it, too. This is great, dude. Restore the Snyderverse. Dreams alive. Watch those wrist rockets, says Zach is the GOAT. Oh, hell yeah. Bro, you want Superman to live on what Weed Planet in Rebel Moon so he can make the new Smallville? You trying to make that happen again? Hell yeah. As long as it's slow-mo. Hell yeah. As long as it's slow-mo, baby. Shockwave Lab says Sony going to announce a new Venom movie. Venom 4. Let's go. I'd be down. I'd be down. I like Venom, man. I like the Venom movies. You guys are crazy. You went way too hard on those Venom movies, man. All right, guys. Anything else going on? What else is on your mind? What else is going on in the chat? You know, I'm trying to wrap this stuff up before an hour, but I'll hang out a little bit with you guys. What's going on? What's on your mind? You don't want Guns Justice League? Hell nah. Supergirl, Sergeant Rock, Clayface, and Guy Gardner? Sounds fucking terrible. I skipped your super? Sorry, brother. Let me look it up. Let me look it up here. Delta Dan says, Rival Stream was way more fun with you commentating. That's true. Looks like it's Marvel Rivals. Marvel Rivals on Wednesday. I'll tell you what, I'll do some commentating of your guys' matches, too. I'll play a little bit, but then I'll commentate. Because I want to work on my casting. You know? How am I supposed to become world-famous Marvel Rivals caster? Yeah. Okay. Mr. Jazz says, do you believe the leaked concept art was probably intentional? Looks like I did miss a couple chats here. Sorry. The leaked concept art was probably intentional. I don't think so, actually. No. I don't think so. I know a lot of people still believe that. I don't think so. Could be, though. Could be. Okay. Let's see here. If Saudi Prince sending Warner Brother emails trying to get money out of his country too, he need their help doing it. Much love. Nerd Avengers for fam. Saudi Prince sending Warner Brother emails. I don't know what you're talking about, brother. I don't think that guy has any money problems. Like, I'm just gonna be honest with you. I don't fully understand what's going on. I'm not like a world economic fucking, you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know how this shit works, but I'm gonna be real here. I don't think that dude has any money problems. I don't think he has to worry about how the money flows. I don't think he has to worry about where the money goes. I don't think he has to worry about where the money comes from. I think he just has to worry about restoring the Snyderverse. You know what I mean? Mr. Poppy says, I love this fucking family show. Hell yeah. Nerd Avengers for life. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you. CY98 with a 10 spot. That's very generous. Says also, if Superman fails, they can't reboot again since people won't be invested. So what do you think? You can't reboot or continue on from a failure. You continue on from what works, a.k.a. Zack Snyder's Justice League. I don't know why I gave you that accent, but absolutely, brother. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Bianca with a 10 spot says, dare you to go longer than an hour. Okay. All right, I will. Bro, did you see the Doom leak? I probably did, but which one? If you want to, Rob, you could message me on Discord, unless you don't care about putting spoilers in the chat. Kind of up to you. But I will say this. I have 2 videos cooking right now. The one from this morning. Huh? Send that shit to me on Discord, because I don't know what you're talking about from this morning, but it could be something that I heard earlier. 15 minutes ago? Okay, then I probably didn't see it. Who did it come out from? Who did it come out from? Brandon says, watched Infinity War and Endgame over the weekend. Spidey and Iron Man reuniting in Endgame gets me every time. Need this magic again for Doomsday and Secret Wars. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah. No, I totally agree with you, man. I think that's the whole point. I think that's the whole point of bringing them out. Bring them out, bring them out. Bring them out, bring them out. You know what I mean? Let's see what is... Rob, you didn't send it to me yet. Rob? Oh my God, of course. You got me on that one, brother. He says the leak is that Dr. Doom took a leak. Oh, man. You got me, Rob. You got me. Hey, Rob, did you get into Warhammer yet? JJ Lamont says, I've been smoking weed since I dropped my son at school this morning, and y'all, I'm higher than I am if you think Snyder's ever... What the fuck? JJ, this is a family show, brother. I don't know what the hell's happening here. So, we're more smoked out than you if we think Snyder's coming back. Hey, money talks, man. Money talks. What's this dude worth again? Like 3 trillion or whatever? Yeah. Hell yeah. Logan says, canceling Batman 2 for some bum-ass dead Snyderverse would be the worst studio decision in filmmaking history. 1 of 2. Ooh, I can't wait for part 2. Yeah! I'm sending Josh a message in AOL Instant Messenger. Yo, you remember that shit? Sent you a super chat. All right, brother. The Winter Shoulder says, Happy Monday! Do you think Marvel would ever bring back Thanos for future cosmic stories? He did have access to the Time Stone when Warlock is around. Yeah, it's possible. I'm kind of interested to see what they cook with Thanos in potentially these next 2 movies. That'd be pretty interesting. Yeah, I think that could be cool, man. Okay, Logan, 2 of 2 says, outside of Infinity War and Endgame, with maybe No Way Home, The Batman is easily the most culturally relevant comic book movie in the last decade. Clears Snyder's entire filmography. So, look, man, I'll tell you this. Like, hey, I can't, like, either way, whether you're just passionate about trolling or you're actually passionate about that movie, I admire the passion. 100%, man. That's cool. There are aspects of those movies, or the Reeves movie, that I like. There's a lot I like about Reeves as a filmmaker, you know what I mean? Like going all the way back to, what was the found footage, John, he did? Cloverfield? Like, dude, Matt, I've followed his career for a long time. I think he's really, really talented. Love what he did with the Apes movies. I do not like the Batman movie. And it's not some vendetta I have against Matt. It's not even that Robert Pattinson thinks he's James Dean, doesn't want to lift weights. It's a confluence of things. And to me, it's like, and I've said this before in chat, and I think this is like the best way to say it to get people to understand what I mean. What DC has done with Batman over the past 20 years would be like Marvel just making Iron Man 1 and 2 over and over again. It would have never allowed Iron Man to evolve past that to become the guy that then is the one that does the ultimate sacrifice, you know, that huge crazy arc that now we're going to undo with Doom. Hell yeah, I can't wait. But the point is, you won't get that without years. And Batman, it's like, I understand people like that movie, but to me, it's just the latest version of a really arturist filmmaker that's doing their version of Batman. Frankly, I'm sick of it. I want to see Batman evolve past that. I am so sick of year 1 Batman. No, bro, get that out of here. Like, Bruce is so much more than that. If you understand Bruce in the comics, he is so much more than that. But we can't get to that because they keep rebooting him over and over and over again. So again, totally cool that you like that Batman. You know, it's funny you say outside of Infinity War and Endgame. For some reason, it's making me think of Batman and The Outsiders. Man, how come we've never seen The Outsiders? You know? Then why do you want to restart again? No, restoring a story that was already being built is so much better. And the arc that Batman is on, he is so much closer to the God Bat than any Batman we've seen before. Like, legitimately. That version of Batman, especially if you watch the Snyder Cut, and the Unsellables, maybe, yeah. But the Outsiders are cool, Rob. You have to admit, the Outsiders are kind of cool. Point is, that Bruce is the closest to the Bat God out of any other version. Because he's just around the longest, and he's dealing with gods and Darkseid and all kinds of shit. I mean, come on, man. Okay. Camo says, what do you think of Thanos with wait, what? With Huda? Way too OP for MCU? Ranked in pair with One Above All? Huh? What is the Huda? I don't know. I don't understand this question, brother. I do not understand your question. Sorry, bud. Maybe a typo or something. Maybe a little typo or something there. Hey, by the way, if you are a Unity fan, we have been finally making some progress on the book. We should have a town hall within the next couple of weeks. And I also started designing a trading card game with Unity. Here, look, I'll pull up some of these just to show you and preview some of it. I'm testing this card game a bunch today and this week. But I've designed, not only did I design what I think is actually a pretty cool card game, but I designed 2 starter decks that can be played against each other. So this is one of the characters. It's Midas versus Magnus, the first 2 characters. And then I will have to explain the mechanics of the game to get you to understand like how all of this stuff makes sense. But if you've ever played any card games before, I should be able to relatively easily explain the system and how it all works. So we'll have more on that soon. Here's like a bunch of the different cards there. And I think it's really cool. I think you're going to dig it. It's actually a pretty well designed little game. And we'll expand on it. I would not imagine us actually releasing a full set of the card game until after we ship the book later this year. But we will start testing it and building it with some of the people that backed the Kickstarter. So just wanted to kind of bring that up. It's cool. It's pretty cool, man. I actually am quite excited about it. I think it's going to be fun. Yeah. Yeah, you'll get your collector hoodie before you get the cards, Justin. Yeah. No, it's pretty fun, actually. I came up, but believe it or not, I actually came up with what I think is a pretty cool design space for the game. And it allows for a lot of flexibility, a lot of interesting play. I've been playing strategy games and card games my whole life. I've played a ton of them. And I've sort of picked up on things I like in the design space, things I don't like in the design space. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. But I think it's going to be cool. All the characters in Doomsday are supposed to die. I would imagine a lot of them will die. I think it's going to be... Rob, I think... You and I probably think similarly about this. I think it's going to be a lot like time runs out. Hell yeah, a ton of them are going to die. In fact, the only ones that quote-unquote survive will be ones that are sort of brought back to life via Battleworld, and then the ones that survive in some kind of ship. So probably like the Cabal and the Illuminati did in Hickman's thing. That's probably what you'll see on Secret Wars. So you'll have like all these Battleworld versions of characters, and then you'll have a group of heroes and a group of villains maybe that pop up from the previous universe version. Heart of the Universe. Oh, okay. So from Thanos Wins? Yeah. Okay, cool. I will definitely look that up, man. Rob, did you make a video about this yet? Shit, bruh. Kyber Sith with a 20 spot. That is very generous, man. Says, much love to you and the family, Josh. What's this Feige hates X-Men 97? By the way, I'm flying out to sweet Texas tomorrow, so I won't be able to knock you out without any mercy in Marvel Rivals. Well, we play Marvel Rivals on Wednesday, so maybe you'll be back in time. Feige does not hate X-Men 97. I think Bo's statements about this have kind of been blown out of proportion here. It was a Marvel animation project. It was Brad Winderbaum's project. I mean, everything went through Brad. Kevin was just barely involved. So, Brad says he never made any notes. Brad says he's mad because he didn't make any notes. He has no creative ownership over it, and it's like the best thing they've ever made. So therefore, he doesn't like Brad or whatever, or Bo. I might have mixed up Brad and Bo there a little bit. I think you know where I'm coming from, though. The point is, man, I don't think Feige has a vendetta against the X-Men 97 team. Maybe he does now, because Bo and coming forward and all that. But no, I don't think it was like... I truly cannot imagine Kevin being so not involved that he doesn't give notes, and yet having some kind of overbearing influence that also made everybody resent him. Like, these things don't fit together, you know? And, like, Bo seems like a nice guy, but he obviously had a monumental, crazy thing happen with an employer. Whenever that happens, I mean, holy shit, yeah, there's going to be some bad blood, and you're gonna say things in a certain way because you feel like shit happened, and it wasn't good. Philip Hatch says, Josh, do you think they'll use the scene from Age of Ultron when Wanda gives Tony the vision from all the dead Avengers for Doomsday? I think it's possible. I have thought about this. I like that moment as somewhat of a catalyst for Tony learning about magic, etc. I think I've done videos on this in the past. So that would be cool for sure. But I'm not 100%. I mean, I've been cooking some theories. If you've watched some of the more recent theory videos, I have all sorts of ideas on how Doom could be doing this. Like, one of the most recent theories I have is I'm starting to think Doom might create the Dark Avengers. Right? So let me just take you through this. This is kind of a fun theory, right? So right now we know there's probably going to be evil Avengers. They might pretend to be heroic at first, and then they're going to flip on everybody. And that includes Doom, by the way. So that's kind of interesting. But where do these Dark Avengers come from? Does Doom just pull them out of the multiverse? Maybe. But maybe he does what the Maker did in the Ultimates universe. That is to say, in the Ultimates, the Maker made an offshoot of 616, a branch timeline. And then the Maker manipulated that branch timeline to make it go the way he wanted. So, what if Doctor Doom finds the sacred timeline? He travels back in time to Iron Man 1. He kills Tony Stark Iron Man, takes his place, and then manipulates all of the characters throughout that timeline to make the Avengers flip and become evil. So this would be similar to the Ultimates thing. It would be like Doom doing a version of what He Who Remains did. Because if you think about it, He Who Remains recreates the sacred timeline, right? Did he destroy it and remake it? Did he recreate a branch? Then that's now the main timeline? We're not sure. But either way, if that happened, which we know that it did, maybe Doom creates the Dark Avengers through the same thing. Through manipulation of a branch timeline of 616. And I think that would be pretty cool. So we'll see. Xavier says, do you think Sony was setting Chameleon up intentionally in Far From Home for him to be the villain of Spider-Man 4 or future movies? Hell nah. Hell nah. Sony not thinking that far ahead. I don't even know if I believe the Chameleon thing. We'll see. I don't know if I believe it. Sure. Could Chameleon be? Yeah, totally. I don't know how that fits in all the other rumors we've heard. And can't Chameleon show up as any person ever? So technically Chameleon, it could be the villain of every Marvel movie you've ever seen. You just didn't know it. Think about it. Kyber Sith says, Kang will Uber Doom to his anytime and place. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Yeah, we're going to find out, man. Spider-Man 4 is a very important movie, very big movie. In a year, maybe a year and a half from now, we're all going to watch the goddamn movie. Do you realize that? Do you realize Spider-Man 4 is going to literally come out in about a year? By this time next year, we will have we're all about to see Doomsday, right? So Spider-Man 4 won't be until about like 13, 14, 15 months from now. Anyway, next year we're watching Doomsday and Spider-Man 4. Isn't that insane? Next year we're watching Doomsday and Spider-Man 4. Doomsday and Spider-Man 4? Next year? Holy. Fantastic Four this year. Thunderbolts this year. Comic-Con, I think it's going to be nuts this year. Then we've got Doomsday trailers by the end of this year. We've got Electric Chair Reveal Boogaloo Part 2 later this year, right? Oh, hell yeah. I can't wait to see those chairs, man. Give me some more chairs. Love them chairs. All right, we made it past an hour, okay? Is everybody happy? Is this a good enough length for everybody? Can we call it a show? Can we call it a day? What else is on your mind? I'll chill for like 5-10 more minutes to be nice. What else is on your mind? What else are you thinking about? Bro, Zach is only good if you give him 24-hour movie. What? I don't know what that means, dude. Jay Howington 32 says, I love the Snyderverse. I'll never give up. All the actors will come back. And yeah, no, I agree with you, brother. Let's get it. Chris Evans in Fantastic Four. I think so, yeah. Have I finished Dragon Ball Daima? If by finished Dragon Ball Daima, you mean watch the first 7 episodes, then skipped all the way to the end and watched the last 2 episodes where all the crazy transformations happen? Yes, I did finish Dragon Ball Daima. Did I finish Solo Leveling? No, but here's what's happened with Solo Leveling, Andreas. I love my daughter, man. She is so sweet. Athena is a little angel. 90% of the day, she's perfect. She smiles. She's beautiful. When it gets to the end of the day, she turns into a little monster, okay? And my wife and I have been having a very difficult time watching anything together at night. Like, I'm done with all the work. You know, our son's in bed. But Athena... Man, this little baby is she just goes crazy at night. So we haven't been able to watch shit together. So today I told her, let's try in the afternoon. When we lay Liam down for a nap, we're going to watch Solo Leveling. I need to watch the new Solo Leveling. Yeah, so that's what's going on there. Logan says with a 5 spot, highest grossing movies of 26 going to be Doomsday, Spider-Man 4, Doom, Messiah, The Odyssey. We're eating. Messiah and Odyssey got like endgame hype for me. Hell yeah, dude. I'm glad you're excited and interested in all that kind of stuff. I don't know enough about the Odyssey to be that excited about it. Frankly, I think the last couple of Nolan movies have been kind of snooze fest. I like Nolan a lot, but he's getting into that stage of his career where he's just so self-indulgent and nobody's going to tell him no. So, I don't know. Like even... what's the one with the Cillian Murphy making the bomb? Yeah, Oppenheimer was peak boring shit for like 50% of it. So we'll see. Maybe Odyssey's going to be really good. Messiah, I'm quite interested in. Villeneuve is very similar though. Super self-indulgent, little self-aggrandizing, but yeah, I expect that one to be pretty good. I'm fascinated to see how he adapts Messiah. Very challenging book to adapt, I think. Yeah. Yeah. Oppenheimer was fantastic. Oh, geez. Yeah, sure. Oppenheimer, so good. So cool. Oppenheimer, so good. I loved all the cinema in it. I need Dennis to adapt. What? I haven't seen Tenet. It's terrible, in my opinion. Did you see Superman plot leaks? Is there any truth to it? I actually have not seen them, guys, but there's probably truth to it. Let me see. Where's it at? Where's the plot leaks at? Somebody share me the plot leaks. Somebody send me the plot leaks. I'll tell you if they're real or not. Right away. Nobody sent it to me. What the hell? What the hell? Thought we were chill. Thought we were friends. Nobody tells me nothing. All right. Well, I'll have to talk about the Superman stuff later. I don't know. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Norin Rad, what's up, brother? Says Josh, what's up, brother? What the hell? I haven't been able to catch live streams lately, but still out here supporting you. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Hope you're doing well, man. Hope you're doing well, and I hope that we get some Norin Rad in the MCU soon, man. Woo! I sent you that Superman leak video from Arnon on Discord. Okay, cool. Cool. Like what? In a message, or did you link it to me? Did you link it to me? I'm going to have to look at this, man. I don't really want to watch it on stream because it could be real, and I don't want to, like, spoil Superman for people. But I think Aaron's pretty good, actually, man. So this could be real. He gives away the whole thing. He gives away the ending, too. Wow. Wow. That's kind of interesting. Yeah, Aaron. You guys want me to spoil it? Man. What about the person that randomly clicks on the stream and they're like, I want to hear about Blade. And I'm like, and then Superman says, I'm Superman, bitches. And they're like, no. All right, well, here's what I'll do. Let's end the podcast stream here, and then we'll watch it and we'll spoil it together. Sound good? All right, everybody. Everybody listening on the podcast feed, man, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for your listenership, viewership, whatnot. By the way, we do actually have these up as video podcasts over on Spotify. So depending on how you listen to your podcast, I know some people like it a certain way. All good. But if you ever find yourself needing to look at the video portion of the podcast, you can check that out on Spotify. Usually uploads a little bit after the audio version of the podcast on all the other feeds. I really appreciate you. As I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video. I actually ended it before I said video. I don't know if you heard the click. I totally fucked that up. Okay. Let's spoil Superman. James Gunn's gonna be so mad. Gonna spoil your shit. All the movie, every single surprise ruined. Fuck you, James. Fuck you, James.
Rare DC update on a Sunday afternoon. And I hope everybody has had a fantastic weekend.
I did have a good weekend. Hey, did you guys have a good weekend? I had a great weekend, mostly because I painted a lot of Warhammer. I don't have any of it here. I moved most of it back. But I painted a lot of Warhammer, assembled a lot of Warhammer. I was feeling good. I had a great weekend. Did you have a good weekend? Let me know.
Go out with some friends this weekend and have somewhat of a normal weekend after my horrific accident.
What the hell?
Still have perpetual pain, but every day I'm getting back to a little bit more of a normal routine.
Okay.
But I am far from it.
Damn.
But every day life gets a little bit better. I will tell you that. But
somebody tell us what happened. Is he all right?
I hope you guys all had a fantastic weekend. And as you guys could tell by the title of this video, this is going to just revolve around Superman spoilers specifically.
Okay,
so
cool.
If you do not want to be spoiled at all about Superman, just stop watching the video now. And if you
guys, this is your last warning. If you don't want to be spoiled, get on out of here.
You do stick around and you like the video, please hit the like button on the video. And as soon as you do, there's a bell icon that appears. Hit that bell icon so you will also get notified when I have new videos go up.
Hell
now,
yeah.
I am going to be covering everything in regards to Superman
all right,
as
let's go.
It gets released, even spoilers, and I will warn you guys. I don't see that. I just don't care about this movie anymore. Warner Brothers has done just a great job about getting DC fans to not care about this IP anymore when it comes to...
I mean, that's kind of... I mean, what do you guys make of that, man? Because I thought my man was coming out here like, I'm really excited. We're going to talk about all... No, he's literally like, I don't give a shit about this movie. Yo, okay.
2 live-action movies.
By the way, I'm not even where this guy is at. It's so weird because everybody's like, oh, you're being so mean about the movie. No, James Gunn just sucks. He's just dumb as fuck and just doing a bunch of stupid shit. And I'm just calling it out. I'm going to see the movie. I hope the movie's good. But if it's not good, I'm going to point at the dumb, white-haired, spiky-looking, stupid motherfucker. I'm going to point right at him because it's all his fault.
And I don't see Gunn changing that. In fact, we're going to see with some of the spoilers today that I'm going to cover that this looks like nothing other than a middle finger to the Man of Steel. It really does.
Whoa.
And so we're going to look at some of these spoilers. Now, before I get into these, it's also important.
Dude. I mean, if that's really what it is, oh boy. CTMZ, thank you for 5 gifted memberships, man. Really appreciate it.
Note that these may not be true, okay? These are the things that are getting passed around social media, and I'm going to cover those things. Quite a few people had these. I am probably leaning towards the fact that, yes, I believe that these things are true. We'll talk about each one of these as they come across.
Be blessed. Hey, thank you, brother, for the 10 spot. CTMZ, I really appreciate it, man. Thank you. You be blessed, too.
Across my plate, but let's get started. So this was a spoiler that I wanted to put in my last video, and I forgot to talk about it at the very end. I know somebody in my comments wanted to know exactly how I put these videos together. I don't plan these videos really out ahead of time, other than the fact that as I am scrounging the internet and grabbing stuff to talk about for my next video, I just throw them up in the order that they show up. You know, in my photos, I talk about each of those subjects. And so there are things that I mean to grab, and sometimes I forget to grab them, or for some reason they're not showing up. This was one of those. It says, Leaker Viewer Anon says that in Superman, there's a subplot where supermodel Eve Tessmacher is in love with Jimmy Olsen, but he can't stand her. And from what I've read, it appears that she tries to pursue him the entire movie, and he wants nothing to do with her. And it'll be interesting to see why he doesn't. Is he just not interested because of who she is? Is he gay? You know, what is the motivation behind this? Is she just annoying? What is it? We'll find out when the movie comes out.
Yeah, I think that shit is true. I think this shit real.
This, to me, seems like a subplot that really doesn't move anything in regards to Superman forward or really show you who Jimmy Olsen is unless they're going to show the fact that he's gay. Who knows?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case, but we will see when the movie actually comes out.
Mm-hmm.
This was another big thing that got released as soon as I did my last video. In fact, this was the first thing I grabbed after my last video. It says Bradley Cooper has been cast
this shit
as
real.
Jor-El in Superman. And this also comes from Viewer Anon.
So I talked about this on Twitter over the weekend. I didn't put it in a video or anything, but what happened here was Viewer Anon came out, and you'll recall, and I'm actually probably a little bit responsible for this. You know, I did my show, I think it was on Friday, and I showed the Viewer Anon thing because he was making reference to the test screening, the fact that the movie's very silly. So Superman is very silly, a lot of jokes, and that has divided some people that have seen it, including the test screen audiences, right? So Daniel RPK, John Campea, Robert Meyer Burnett, a few other people are acting like Superman's just getting all these glowing reviews from everybody that has seen it. That's not true. And Viewer Anon was being very critical of the movie. You know what? I shouldn't even say that. He was just saying that what Daniel and them are saying is not true. That there is a lot of people worried about this thing because it's really jokey. Well, what happened was a bunch of, you know how Grace Randolph calls them James Gunn's little bitches? Because James Gunn, I mean, you know, he has the weirdest, grossest, silliest fans ever. And so on social media, they act ridiculous. Just as bad as Snyder Bros, if not worse. She calls them James Gunn's little bitches, right? So what happened was James Gunn's little bitches start harassing Viewer Anon. And they start trying to say, like, dude, you don't know shit. So he was like, oh, yeah? Bradley Cooper's Jor-El. And then the whole internet was like, oh, my fucking God, I can't believe he spoiled Bradley Cooper's Jor-El. And it's like, come on, man. He didn't. At least he didn't at first. Not until y'all started egging him on saying he didn't know shit. And then he was like, oh, I don't know shit? Here's Bradley Cooper's Jor-El. Boom. And then the whole internet's like, I can't fucking believe it, right? So that's the level. By the way, I've made this point a million times. Half of you are going to look right past me saying this. The other half are going to be like, I get it. This is Gunn's making. He created this environment. He created this fan environment, literally.
Does have a really good track record of getting things right. And he goes, you mean like when I told people Wonder Woman 1984 wasn't nearly as good as they were being led to believe? Either way, you're so close to realizing why I tell people test screening reports are meaningless. Jor-El is Bradley Cooper. There you go. You got something out on me because I'm too defensive when people call me a liar.
That's what happened.
So he's basically saying this to say, hey, when the movie comes out, you're going to see that I was right, and I gave you a little bit of nibble here, that Bradley Cooper is going to be Jor-El. Here's why I believe this is probably the case. Obviously, Bradley Cooper was in Guardians of the Galaxy as Rocket Raccoon.
Well, look, you can fast forward. The reason we know it for sure it's real is because a bunch of institutional Hollywood people lost their fucking mind. Like, Jeff Snyder was one of them. And so was Luis Fernando, guy we talk about a lot, does a lot of box office reporting. These people came out with scathing statements condemning viewer Anon. I can't believe the audacity of this guy to actually spoil this true surprise from the movie. But by doing that with such vigor, they confirmed that it's real. These people are so silly.
And James Gunn loves to work with the same people, and I totally see this as being a possibility. Plus, he's got a good screen presence.
More than a possibility.
I'm not sure why he doesn't do more movies. But, it's going to be another short-lived cameo because who knows what the context behind this is. But, really, I don't know how much of Jor-El we should even be getting in the film because we're not seeing Superman's origin story, and we were promised we weren't going to get the origin story. So we'll see how this fits into the film, if at all. So here was the biggest bit of spoiler information that came out that I wanted to cover. And this is one of those things that goes to show that this is going to end up being, if this is true, just a massive middle finger to Man of Steel. And again, this is titled Spoiler Superman Test Screening Ending. Here are some details I heard. 1, Krypto gets badly injured during the final battle, but still lives. Again, they're really pushing Krypto. Is this really a Krypto movie or is it a Superman movie? And tomorrow, I'm going to be doing another video showing you guys a lot of the new marketing materials that are getting, a lot of stuff is released today ahead of the CinemaCon this week. And there's even some merchandise, and we're going to look at some of this merchandise. And again, they are like banking on this dog. Like, it's the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
Superman is almost secondary to Krypto.
Yeah.
Number 2, Superman is almost forced to kill the villain. Sound familiar?
Yeah.
But Lois Lane stops him. So Lois Lane is going to be the hero in the end. She's going to be the one that comes in and stops Superman from killing the main villain.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a massive middle finger to what they did in Superman. And again, there was a reason why that happened in Man of Steel. They were not doing the same old Superman. They were really trying to move that character forward in a different direction, but still maintain him being Superman. We're not going to get that this time. We're going to have Lois Lane be the real hero at the end of the film. And I do believe that's probably going to happen. Number 3, Lex is a wanted man for his crimes, but he goes into hiding.
Okay.
So he's going to get away in the end, and we're going to see where he goes and how that will play into future DCU movies. Number 4, Superman doesn't wear a new suit, but there is a glimpse of similar suits without the trunks in the Fortress of Solitude.
Okay.
So again, they're going to leave it open for him to possibly get a new suit in the future, and then maybe this first movie is going to remain the same. There were a couple of things that people kept saying during the filming of this movie, and they would say this over and over again. This isn't going to be the only suit he wears during the film, and they'll fix it in post. Neither of those things, it doesn't look like any of those things, either of them is going to happen in this actual film. And that goes, I figured that from the beginning. I just think, James Gunn talked about not using a whole lot of CGI, and they're trying to save as much money as possible.
Yeah.
Why would they create a loose-fitting suit just to fix it in post? It doesn't make any sense.
That's fair. Yeah.
And it says here that the film does not have a cliffhanger, but hints at a bigger universe. And so it doesn't look like there's going to be any major cliffhangers. Now, this doesn't...
So, look, my only problem here is, we had everything sourced out in this video, except for this. Who's the source here? Is it viewer anon again? Like, because that would be a big deal. I don't think it is. It's probably just some rando. So we don't know if we can believe this or not.
Specifically speak to post-credit scenes or someone like Batman coming in. There are other rumors, other spoilers that have come out. One of those is saying that Batman shows up.
Yeah, that's true.
And we're going to see who the new Batman is.
I think that might be true.
So there are a lot of spoilers starting to come up, and as we get closer to this film and more people see it, we will see more stuff posted online. But again,
okay, so let's talk about this. So this does line up with some things I heard, but I don't know. So crypto, like, yeah, there's a lot of crypto in the movie. Does he get injured in the final battle? I'm not sure. I haven't heard about that, but sure, would make sense. There's a lot of crypto in the movie, 100%. Superman's almost going to kill the villain, but Lois Lane stops him. So he's almost going to kill Luthor. Or is it the clone? Like, what villain? And then Lois stops him. Well, I could definitely see a scenario in which that feels like an antithesis of Man of Steel and feels like a revisionist note on it. And that might feel weird. I could also see a scene done where, yeah, it seems like Lois is the real hero. But I could also see this being fine, you know? Like, it might just work. And that could be the ending. And she pulls Clark a little bit away from the rage. I don't really necessarily have a problem with that. Lex is a wanted man, goes into hiding. Okay. No new suit. Fine. No cliffhanger. Hints at a bigger universe. Yeah, that's fair. You know, I'll tell you this. I did hear this, okay? And I think enough people have talked about this online that I can talk about this now. Because on Friday, I wasn't trying to talk about this, but like a bunch of people started talking about it online. One of the criticisms of the film that I find kind of interesting that a lot of people keep saying is that it doesn't have like a through line plot. And instead it feels a lot like just individual challenges that Superman overcomes. And it's lacking like a cohesive feeling as a film. And I was like, at first I had a lot of trouble believing that, where I was like, that doesn't seem like Gunn though, you know, like, cause say what you will about Gunn, his stories are usually fulfilled, you know, but he did try to do this one differently. And maybe he just kind of got trapped in like a nostalgia bait thing. I'm not really sure. But I mean, imagine if that's ultimately the problem with Superman, right? Is like, it's literally just scenes and it's not like actually pulled together with like a good through line. That would be devastating. I don't know. Some of this stuff seems like it could be real, but I haven't really heard exactly.
I don't know if this stuff is true or not. All right, guys. So what do you think about all these spoilers that I covered? Do you think they're true? Do you think they're not? Come back to my channel as...
Yeah, it's hard to say. Some of it's real for sure. Some of it might not be, though. What do you guys think, man? What do you guys think? Alan Ritchson as Batman? Oh, yeah, baby. That would be sick. And then Perez, thank you for gifting a membership, buddy. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Huh. Interesting times. Interesting times. Yes. You're afraid? Afraid of what? Superman? Afraid of Superman? Rise of Skywalker Part 2? Yeah, it kind of feels like it a little bit, yeah. I sent you a similar plot leak to your email. Oh, okay, thank you. I'll check that out. I'll check that out. Where issues with morality or what it means to be human? I don't know what you... What? Can't wait for Josh to join AEW. What the hell is that? Wrestling? Wrestling? Watch party tomorrow night for Daredevil? Hell yeah, brother. We're going to do a watch party tomorrow night for Daredevil, man. Better be a good one. I hope it's a real good one. I hope it's a real good one. All right, what else is going on, guys? Probably going to get out of here soon. I really appreciate y'all, though. Thank you for the love today. Nandy, this movie has to be better than Man of Steel. I think it has to be just as good, make just as much money, and make a big impact, for sure. It's all elite? I don't know what that... Okay, cool. I'm all elite, baby. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, it's all elite, baby. Superman seems like an unfinished movie. I don't know that I would say that, but it might be, I mean, if those rumors are true, it seems like it's less cohesive than a lot of stuff that Gunn has made, right? Kyber Sid says, hey Josh, real talk, how are you, man? I'm good, man. I mean, I had a really good weekend. In all seriousness, yes, it was because of Warhammer, but also it's just good to take a little break, man. I work so much and I do so much content creation. You can burn out where you're like I could have released that video on Friday. I was just burnt out. I didn't want to make a title. I didn't want to make the thumbnail. I didn't want to like do all the, cause like YouTube work is like a lot of like thinking through things and like solving problems, and it's just like a bunch of bullshit, like most jobs, you know? So I'm good, but man, it was nice to have a little break. Like I'm feeling pretty chill today. Been very nice to just get back into it, cover the news and chill with y'all. Got some good videos coming, so it was good. Good little break. Box office predictions? What, for Superman? I think Superman's going to get close to $1 billion. I think it's actually be quite successful. Lord Vito says with the $2... Oh, a nice little bones in it. Appreciate you, brother. Hope you're doing well, Veed. How you doing, man? How you doing, man? Are movies like Iron Man 2 and 3, Thor 1 and 2 better now after Phase 4? Probably, bro. Probably. I think that's fair. They probably look better, too. Isn't it crazy how visual effects used to look a lot better? Like, what the hell, man? What happened? That's crazy. But I think it's true. Only Goku can get me into the theater now? Well, he's in Secret Wars, so I'll see you there. Are you going to the Minecraft family? Or the movie with the fam? Nah, we're not really Minecraft players over here. We never really got into it, so nah. I hope it's good, though. Warner Brothers definitely needs the hit, so we'll see. All right, everybody. Hey, that's going to do it for us here today on a Monday. Appreciate y'all. Remember, we'll be back at it tomorrow. Probably be covering some of the CinemaCon news from tonight. Video later tonight. Video tomorrow. Deadpool tomorrow night. Wednesday morning, we're back at it. Wednesday night, we're playing Marvel Rivals together as a community. Lots of nerd venging to do, baby. Oh, hell yeah. All right, everybody. Y'all take care of yourselves, man. As I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and a nerdy day. And I'll see you in the next video. Is everybody gone? Did everybody leave? Aw, shit. Another happy landing, man. Oh! Thought that was a good one, man. It's always good to talk some shop, speculate, get into some news, baby. Oh, hell yeah. Hope you're feeling good. Hope it was a good start to the week. And it is literally just a start. So much more to do this week. See you later tonight in the video, and I'll see you tomorrow morning on the stream. Do me a favor, open up that third eye, baby, and wash out that stinky butthole. Enjoy the rest of your day.